Hello. Hello. Good morning. Hello. My mic seems wildly hot. Let me try to get this in a decent range. Hello. Welcome once again to Dork Duck Daily, the show with all the news you need. All the news you nerd, as Shiki so wonderfully. Welcome to here, Jeff. Yeah. Yeah, I was over there. I kept trying to leave, and then I was like, all right, I should be. Well, part of it I couldn't. So, as I was getting everything set up, we did last night. We did a birthday, um, live comic sale, and normally I try to be very disciplined in cleaning up this whole area post live sale and getting all the comics put away and all of that stuff. And I had kind of just it was my birthday. I was like, it's my birthday. I just want to eat. I organized all the books that were purchased, and I sent out all the invoices, and then I ordered a pizza so that I could close out the birthday, eating pizza and watching Jurassic Park, which is a hell of a way to kill a birthday. It's great. I that's a that's I might kind of do that going forward. I famously say goodnight to every Christmas by watching Die Hard with a glass of whiskey, and I think closing out birthdays with Jurassic Park might be the way to go. It's pretty solid. So last night I was just like, yeah, I'm not cleaning any of that stuff up. So I had headphones on. I was cleaning all that stuff up, had Addo in my ears, and then I kept going like, all right, I need to wrap this up. And then I couldn't find the little doohickey case that my headphones go into. Tim says sounds like a good way to do birthdays. I need to figure out my birthday. Yeah. I think that might be my thing going forward. We might do Jurassic Park to close it off. So I was cleaning everything up this morning, and then I couldn't find. And I kept going like, okay, I need to stop hanging out over on Addo's stream. And then it was like, then they started talking pro wrestling, and I was like, well, I got things to say about that. And then they started talking about. I was way overdue, and then Babylon 5 conversation started. I was like, oh no. You're debating King's Quest 1 this year. Might I suggest Wishbone and the Amazing Odyssey? So one of us needs to get Wishbone out of hell. I need to figure out a way to run that game that's more stable. Because I am excited. I need to. This is Jeff. I'm trying to beat the games I own. Fair enough. Just wait till you own Wishbone. Probably downloading it and running it locally. Yeah. Or I get a 386 working. Hear me out. What if I just get 386 Pentium and put all my old games that I love on it? And just I'm trying to give myself an excuse to buy more junk, is what I'm saying. That's what I'm doing. It's just where can you watch Babylon 5? Nothing I say is going to be helpful to Addo because he's in a different territory. It's all on Tubi. I don't know if they have Tubi there or if they have the same stuff on Tubi there. It's all on Tubi for free, though. You can watch all of Babylon 5 with commercials on Tubi. Yeah. All 5 seasons of it. And that might need to happen sooner rather than later. Don't do that. Don't buy a 380. Sam. Yeah, Windows 3.1. Do you know how good that Windows 3.1 little like thing in the DOSBox thing looked, and how much I'm like, I just want to fuck around with Windows 3.1. Do you know how mind blowing and cool Windows 3.1 was? Um, I just want to live there. I just, the world made sense when it looked like Windows 3.1. That's what I'm saying. I had an image and then it's gone. Yeah. Open this image. All right. Look at this. Doesn't it feel when you look at that like the world's going to be okay? I kind of just want to like, oh, okay. What a weird dream. Look at that. Let's do some paintbrush or some notepad. Let's play some Minesweeper or Solitaire. Some ski free. Uh, with the big Yeti. That's yeah. It'll be okay. Windows 3.1 it's like it's very much hits for me that like it takes me back to being like 8. Um Sam says before you buy anything, look into how actual games run/work. Yeah. I'm wondering what a physical copy of that game costs. I can't be I can't imagine there's too many of us out there that are looking for it. But sometimes that can backfire on you because then there's not a lot of copies out there. Also would help if I can actually spell the word Odyssey. I'm very bad at that. This game doesn't have DRM, that's fine. Many period accurate 90s, zeros gaming PCs don't work right because of DRM servers not existing anymore. But that era is DRM hell and a bunch of big box paperweights. That's how you spell Odyssey. Wishbone and the Amazing Odyssey. That era that this game came from, there wasn't a lot of like internet around. I mean, there was, but there wasn't. Yeah. Yeah, 1394 for a with jewel case. I wonder if it had a. I assume it probably had a big box because a lot of games of that era did, but you can at least get the jewel case for $14. $7 shipping, so like 20 something. System requirements: Windows 3.1 or 95. 8 megabytes RAM, 10 megabytes free hard disk space. A double speed. Oh man, remember when you had to worry about if a CD-ROM drive was double speed or not? Uh, Optional modem, 9600 bits per. I wonder what the modem did for this game. 14.4 recommended. What a game though. I was happy how well that game holds up. Like it really, I was surprised. Since I missed 95 and 98, those were the ones I grew up on. Yeah, I think it's that we all have that attachment just to whatever era. Um, my earliest memories are doing a lot of DOS prompt stuff and then being blown away by Windows 3.1 and being able. And there was a um a thing for DOS called the magic menu. And I can't find it anywhere. It was fairly ubiquitous, but it was a piece of like physical software that I don't know. It might have just been ubiquitous around here, but like in like the post like internet era of like people gathering around and talking about DOS stuff, I've like tried to find it so many times. And what it was, this Wishbone got me through every English class from 4th to 12th grade. Fuck Sparks notes. Deliver that into me from a talking dog, Jack Russell Terrier, and I'll never forget it. Agreed. Well, and also like it's literature, so it's like that show got kind of dark for a PBS kids show. They did fucking Faust. I watched Wishbone make a deal with the devil. Yeah, so there was this thing called Magic Menu, and it was basically it was similar to this. Let me see. Functionally, it was the same thing as this, but it was called Magic Menu. Where'd that go? Okay. All right. So functionally, it looked like this, where you would get to basically you would have to type in magicmenu.exe, and it would open up like this, and then it would have you would have to set up the programs, and you would have to, on the back end, you would have to set up the DOS prompts that you would normally type in. But once you did, you could then click it, and then it would auto run like run wishbone.exe, right? Run doom.exe. You could click it, and then it would just go into it. And you could also do custom icons, and it would bring you to like just a pixelated paint program. And so I made custom item icons for like all of our games and stuff. It was very cool. It says, I remember that episode and that Mickey has seen some shit. Yeah, he's not looking too good. Look at that Duke Nukem though. Does that just make you wanna go like ham? Like although I think Sam hasn't played a lot of the early Apogee games. I still think Commander Keen would be obscenely up your alley. But let me pitch you on my favorite that might need nostalgia to be enjoyed. Maybe it's on GOG. I bought it at one point for $1. Commander Keen's on the backlog. I picked up the collection for Shuffle. Commander Keen's so good. Let me show you. Not this. I don't care about this ad. Let's get past that. Oh, it's LGR. I was just looking for some gameplay. I do love LGR, but now I have to skip a different ad. This is Crystal Caves. I own it now on GOG. I think I bought it for $1. It has all like the original like sound effects chip in the computer sound effects. You didn't need speakers to play it. Crystal caves. All these doors are levels. Oh man, like I just instantly am just like, oh my god. Yes. This game rules. I played so much of this game. Like a ridiculous amount. This is also I miss Shuffle. I miss Shuffle too. Hopefully she comes back around soon. That's one of the harder things about the internet friendship thing is that it's like I am making lots of friends now that if like they stopped hanging out in these spaces, tracking them down would not be like an easy task as it is in real life to be able to be like, you know, worst case scenario, you be like, hey, has anyone heard from, like, in real life, usually there's a brother or something like, hey, is your brother, like, oh yeah, he's not on Facebook anymore, here, let me ask, yeah, he said to give you his number, like, it's just, it's tough. I don't, but obviously everyone has any rights to be in or leave any spaces that they want. They've said internet people are mostly hermits. Yeah, I just miss people. And then it makes me think about all the people that over the years that I was like friends with on like Xbox Live in the early days or in forums and stuff that like I hope they're all doing all right. And I hope I didn't like cause harm by leaving those spaces. Or like cause anguish or people to be worried about me. But yeah, that one. Sorry, I just realized I had 3 instead of 4 articles, and I was like, ooh, we'll talk about that. And I was like, no, we're going to talk about that. That's a bigger, juicier thing to mention. Because we don't just talk about crystal caves or being a hermit or whether or not Sam's a hermit on this show. We also cover all the news you nerd in a whole segment. We like to call it the Daily Quack. Retro says hermit reporting for duty. Nice. Now I just have Babylon 5 open. What if we just... Guys, what if we just sat and watched Babylon 5 instead of covering the news? It's my birthday week. Oh, goodness. Go away. God damn it, Addo. That man really does share a brain with me. It's kind of scary. That would be breaking the law in TOS. Where? What if I... Okay, hear me out. What if I did it, but flipped it? So we were watching mirrored Babylon 5. Alright. Suspected 4chan hack could expose longtime anonymous admins. Jeff, I'm going to send you to the creator boot camp. Okay. No, you don't get it, man. We just set up a Twitch stream, and we just stream pirated shit 24 hours a day. And then we get all that ad revenue. And then when they shut us down, we just make a new account. We start another one. Is that still that bad? Like, if I look at the retro section of Twitch, is it still like nothing but King of the Hill? Still like nothing but King of the Hill. That's me. I don't want to hear myself. Oh yeah, I go to the Twitch homepage that I never go to. It literally tells you not to mirror stuff and add filters. Oh man, they thought of that. Where's Oh, let me go to retro. Let me see how many of these are just straight up pirated content. Um, this is all games so far. Okay. They might have done some cleaning up. Because when we were first starting this a year ago, and I would like peek at the retro channel, so much of it would just be like, oh, they just have Simpsons playing nonstop on this one, or they just be having King of the Hill playing nonstop. So it is encouraging to scroll through here and see actual games. Also, it's encouraging like how many people are streaming retro too. Because scrolling to the bottom of the retro used to be a lot easier. I guess you have, oh, this is playing Noggin. So there you go. But we had to go pretty far down to find that. So looks like they've been doing some cleaning. This looks like it's just playing, or somebody's watching the movie though. So I don't know. Or maybe they're doing it in a different category these days. This is, yo, Donkey Kong Country 2. This is the cleanup constantly, but it's humans, not bots and algorithms, so it's slow. I mean, then it's on you as a community member to report the stream. Just watching a show/movie. Twitch can't fix it if they don't know it's there. That's fair. I didn't. It was, yeah, when I was first figuring out Twitch, when we first started years ago, that was the make of a lot of stuff on Twitch, was just as you're going through, it was like, oh man, there seems to be a lot of stuff that just is like, hey, here's a all right. Obsessive 4chan hack could expose longtime anonymous admins. Just you run out of free articles. I've tried to look at just the same article again. Need my daily fix of Spanish Stuff's 90s cartoons? Yeah. The anonymous image board 4chan has survived years of controversy. It weathered user and advertiser buyouts, as well as damning accusations that it incubated hate speech and may have fueled mass shootings. Users have convened, C-O-N-V-E-N-E-D, I don't know that word, on 4chan to plan hacks like DDoS attacks and conspiracy theories that festered on 4chan, even reportedly inspired the January 6th insurrection at the United States Capitol. On Monday night and Tuesday night, though, the platform faced its latest test after a series of outages led to speculation that the site had been hacked. The core features 4chan provides its public and anonymity to post text and images, but the platform itself does collect information about users, such as their IP addresses. As a result, a breach of the website could represent a significant exposure of data that was intended to be private. 4chan is an anonymous message board that enables often offensive and hateful content. The content leaked, if genuine, would remove some of the anonymity from 4chan administrators, moderators, and janitors, says Ian Gray, Director of Analysis and Research at the security firm Flashpoint. The image board's billing as an anonymous platform may have given users a false sense of security. Gray says some users may have registered their email addresses years ago when they were less aware or concerned about their operational security. Input area. Did you write that from scratch, Holt, or did you go and do a little Google Translate to make that joke? That's my question. Reports about the apparent hack began circulating after a previously banned board on 4chan briefly appeared online, and the site was defaced with a message saying, "You got hacked." Subsequently, an online account on a rival forum known as soyjack.party posted screenshots allegedly showing 4chan's backend systems, plus a list of alleged 4chan administrator and moderator usernames with associated email addresses. Following this post of 4chan administrator email addresses, soyjack.party users started posting alleged doxes, including photos and personal information of the accounts included in the leak. Wired has not been able to confirm whether the data is legitimate. A press email address associated with 4chan, as well as 2 alleged administrator emails from the leaked data, did not immediately respond to Wired's request for comment on the hack and its validity. One of the site's moderators said that they believe the hack and leaks were real, according to a report by TechCrunch. So I took 4 years of Spanish. Also, I Googled it. Yeah. Rumors also started circulating on Tuesday that the breach is the result of 4chan running legacy unpatched software that exposed the platform to the attack. After a breach a decade ago, 4chan founder Christopher Poole, known online as Moot, wrote in a blog post, "We've spent and will continue to spend dozens of hours poring over our software and systems to help mitigate and prevent future intrusions. We're sorry it happened, and we'll do our best to ensure it doesn't happen again." Emiliano de Cristofaro, a computer science and engineering professor at UC Riverside, who has researched impact of 4chan on the web, says the ramifications could be large if the hack is confirmed. It seems true that 4chan hasn't been properly maintained and patched for years, which might indicate that a hack would have definitely been a possibility. De Cristofaro says there might be some high-profile users exposed as moderators. Traditionally, 4chan users hate them, so they might be targeted. It might be hard, or at least painfully slow and costly for 4chan to recover from this. So we might really see the end of 4chan as we know it. Initial reporters posted on soyjack.party referencing a 4chan hack appeared to say that soyjack.party members may have been involved in the attack. One post claimed that a hacker had been in 4chan systems for over a year and exposed personal information allegedly linked to 4chan users and administrators. And multiple screenshots posted on soyjack.party appear to show someone accessing 4chan's internal systems. These include images of someone with administrator access to 4chan backend database, stats about users on various sections of 4chan, a page showing deleted posts and the IP addresses they were made from, as well as other internal documentation. Some reports also claim that hackers stole 4chan's source code. In recent years, 4chan has increasingly been on the radar of the U.S. government officials. The website has reportedly been kept online due in part to investment by a Japanese company. In June 2023, Wired reported an internal 4chan documents that showed how the site's policy shaped the highly toxic nature in the platform, including how moderators explicitly allow racism. In most cases, the document showed calls for violence on 4chan are not met with user bans. If the data is legitimate, information on the members and the posting could be useful for law enforcement investigation. Flashpoint Gray says 4chan has been around since at least 2003, which is extremely notable for any online service. Aside from the offensive and often extremist content, a lot of internet culture has originated from 4chan. If this is a death knell for 4chan, other services will likely fill its place. However, the effect of 4chan on the internet cannot be overstated. They've said, thoughts and prayers, 4chan. 4chan is a cesspool of vile humans that would target creators and other platforms and harass them. Yeah, it's um happened to Selena at least once in her past, I know. Um and so I don't know much of anything about the site. Um this is what happens when you go to it now. Why is it? Oh, because I'm in a different window. Um yeah. It says service unavailable. So it is effectively presuming that is 4chan. It is not going. So re- rest in peace, 4chan. I I've everything I've heard has always been terrible. I don't really have a dog in this race, horse in this race, whatever you want to call it. Um, never was a uh with as on the internet, as when people were really coming at like Reddit. I was that guy that was like, yeah, Reddit is what you make it. Like I was that guy. Um, so you would almost think that I would be like in line for, but every time I'd be like, 4chan, what the heck is it? Every time I would look there, it just, um, it wasn't just, I don't know that I ever got to the content being a cesspool. It was just, it was an assault on the eyes. The whole interface was terrible. Um, just said when 4chan exists and mental health care was freely available. I don't know. Sam says, nope, rest in chaos, you earned it. Other Sam says, if anyone's interested, I'll be creating a new online space called Foreskin. How's it going, buddy? I hope you're doing well. Dylan says, I believe the saying is, I don't have a horse in this fight. Yeah. Precisely. Yeah, I don't know. I there there is no way. I mean, like everything is like this big cacophony of so much stuff, right? And so that 4chan is a site that got largely defined by the worst bits of it, and from my understanding, the worst bits of it are very bad. Um, it is interesting whenever anything this totemic comes to an end, though. And in this kind of, again, I feel like we are living in the era of finding out that the internet is in fact not forever. Um and that is a interesting era to live through, while 99% of the people you encounter on a daily basis still act and behave like the internet is forever, because that's the lesson we've been told and taught and sold for the last 20 years. Um, but there is, um, re- that is a cesspool. I've been told. Is it better for humanity as a whole for that cesspool to go away? Yes. Is that also a large swath of the culture of humanity that, if that has gone away, is now like potentially forever erased? Um, yeah, is that a good thing? I don't know. Um, when people are studying this era hundreds and hundreds of years from now, um, it's gonna be weird because the stuff that exists are gonna be the stuff that weirdos put work into archiving And by weirdos, I'm talking affectionately about like everyone who's hanging out in this chat. Um, and corporations felt like they should archive, but then the corporations are have a have a tendency to like do a little scrubby scrub, do a little cleaning things up. I just have to say, I'm alright apart from a badly burnt hand. How'd you burn your hand? I'm so sorry. Sam says, I don't know that the internet was ever forever as much as once you put it online, anyone can download it, so you can never fully remove your posts. Also, a DDoS attack is easy to fix. It'll be back in a few days. DDoS just spams the server with so many requests it crashes. They just have to ban the IPs of the problematic users. All of the data on that site is still there. Okay. No, the internet forever thing, I guess I should choose different words because that is ubiquitously what that means. But I'm saying that it's like as they're going through and they're deleting people's Facebook content and they're deleting and everyone's switching over to these very digital libraries and all these very, there is this sense in this bill of goods that it's just like, well, if anything that's on the internet will just be there forever, because there's so much stuff on the backs of these corporations that just like we're just like, yeah, why wouldn't, like, everyone's GeoCities pages existed for so long and MySpace pages and like what is up, chef? There was this kind of sense and continuity that it was just like, oh yeah, no, it's like things are just going to be around, and now they're going through and they're being like, oh man, it's too expensive to keep these videos, it's too expensive to keep these pictures, it's too expensive to keep these pages up. Chef says spring break starts today for the school, but I get the joy of going into the clinic today at noon. I'm sorry you have to go into the clinic. Hopefully it goes smoothly for you. Hideo Kojima confirms an easy mode for Death Stranding 2, which will allow players to skip boss battles and let them read about it instead. This is from Ellie Gould at PC Gamer. Says new information about Death Stranding 2 is a little sparse, and unless you count all the celebrity appearances on Hideo Kojima's social media accounts. But Kojima does sprinkle in a couple of details about the upcoming game between his celebrity cameos and movie reviews, like the fact that Death Stranding 2 will have an easy mode. A Koji 10 post translated by Genki reveals that Death Stranding 2 will have a new special feature to help players who are not experienced at action games. This special feature is a boss battle skip, something that will allow players who are less interested in fighting and more interested in the story to just fast forward through the gritty action with ease. I'd be lying if I said that doesn't sound appealing. I've been in countless boss fights where I wish it could just be over with the push of a button and I could just carry on with my journey, but that mostly happens in FromSoft games where the whole point is the grueling boss battles, and I'd be too stubborn to skip them if I had the option. But Death Stranding 2 is very different from a FromSoft game. Yes, there are some weird monsters, and the story is well creative, but the focus isn't on your battles or builds here. It's all about the narrative and experience for yourself. So while the fights in Death Stranding weren't very hard at all, I think it's still a great idea to make said story more accessible to those who perhaps aren't used to facing up against bosses on a regular or semi-regular basis, or just don't want to. It's not like you'll miss out on anything important if you choose the easy mode. Yes, maybe you won't get that winner's high from defeating a difficult enemy, but you'll get to read about your fight afterwards. After skipping the fight, you'll get an image and some text descriptions about the battle, kind of like a short story. There's a lot of support for the idea, but not everyone's happy about it. The usual "you cheated yourself" reason. I don't like it. One player says learning is half the battle. It's okay if they fought on an easier difficulty, but don't take away the whole fight with a novelized scene. Quite a few others seem to share a similar view, but the author of this article, which is Eli Gould, don't really see the issue. People should be left alone to experience any game the way they want. The idea that there's only one right way to experience a game is boring and restrictive way to look at games. Let them skip boss battles or don't. It's your game. Other stuff says, man, I can't wait to play this game and not fight any bosses and just read and set. Yeah, I am. This is where like having a show where Selena is not here to balance me out is maybe a poor idea because I'm not on board with this at all. But like, and I feel like I'm increasingly just that old angry man shouting at the clouds. But Shiki said you, Jeff. Stop it. Thank you, Shiki. Also, good morning, Shiki. Sam said, just wait till keeping files is too expensive for Microsoft after they force OneDrive on most users. Oh my god, that bloodbath is going to be insane. Chef says, the kid I'm going to be with kind of easily. Well, good. Other Sam said, wouldn't it be better to just watch someone play at that point? I kind of think that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know. I think we have, at the risk of sounding like a crazy old person that needs to shut up, and maybe that's who I'm at 38 now. Maybe I've had my time. Like, there are a lot of problems, and I think it's also is often like when older generations say stuff like this, it's often thrown out with like, so you're saying that's the root of all our problems? It's not the root of all of our problems by any stretch. The root of the largest root of most of our problems is capitalism and this nightmare that we've like in these systems that are terrible and everything else. There is this weird thing happening though, where there is like an epidemic of people don't want to ever like feel uncomfortable. Like people are more uncomfortable with feeling uncomfortable than I think has ever been true. And maybe it's one of those things, if you like look back in history, there's like cycles to this stuff. And I don't know. I feel comfortable every day. I don't know what you mean, man. Shiki says the thing is, it's not only for people who don't want to, it's also for accessibility. It's for people who love the games, but maybe can't manage the finer motor skills of doing the bosses. There are probably people who only want the story, but that doesn't mean that's not everyone. Yeah, but I could then see like difficulty modes and stuff like that more, that I could see like, hey, you can hit this button and just get like a summary of what I don't know. It's Sam said, I came back halfway through the story, so I don't know what we mean. They're saying that for Death Stranding 2, there's a difficulty mode that basically just turns off the boss battles. And it gives you a summary of them instead. You don't have to play through the boss battles at all. And it's just like, hey, by the way, this is what happened. And I don't know. I mean, it's Kojima's game. He gets to do whatever he wants to do. Shiki says, just because someone gets to play the games a different way than you doesn't negate your accomplishments. The mindset's kind of ableist, in my opinion. It's a whole different difficulty level. Just don't play it. LMAO. Sam says, good, not everyone has motor skills for that. It's neat that they can enjoy it too. Other Sam says, for me, it's losing something from the experience. If you can't handle the boss battles, wouldn't it be better to watch someone play the game? Uh yeah. I I agree 100% with the thought pattern of like, oh man, yeah, not everyone does. Um, not everyone does have the motor skills to play everything. Or play through these things, and yeah, it does not negate your accomplishments. It does not negate everything. There is some percentage of people though that could and won't, and that's more what I'm talking about, or like rubbing up. I don't even know that I'm like fuck this, but like I'm just like I don't. There's something that doesn't quite click with me with it. It's there's also just like there's also I could see a thing where you're like, oh, you know what game I really loved? Death Stranding 2. It was so phenomenal. And the other person's like, that really sucked. And you're like, what? No, Death Stranding 2 was great. They're like, oh yeah. And then like you're deep in the conversation and you find out they just read through all the boss battles. You'd be like, oh well, you didn't like. Of course, like it's really cool. You have to like no, I played it. Like I Sam said, nah, I disagree. Not everyone's chronically online watching streams like us. I think they should be able to play it if they want. It's just a difficulty setting. Shiki said, like, it's not like there's a button to skip the boss battles on hard difficulty. It's a specific difficulty level for people who don't want to / can't do the boss battles, but wants to experience the other 99.9% of the game. Sam said it's okay to experience games differently. Yes. Um, that is accurate. Although it still continues to like silo out our cultures in ways that like I don't know. Uh I I'm not I started this by prefacing this by saying like I'm probably going to have a take that is like not in step with what and that's the way the world works. That's you shuffle off the old man who's complaining about things because the world isn't for him anymore. Um I I think some media like can be and should be hard, and that's okay. The great thing about this though is this is Kojima doing this. If it was Kojima not wanting this and it was like being forced on him by the publisher or something, then we'd be having an entirely different conversation. And if this is the game he wants to make, who am I to say that he's wrong? Um, Dylan, Jeff, at the risk of sounding translation, Cheeky is gonna hate this take. um, Sam, I don't know why we're so okay with making challenge runs and making games harder and harder, but people act like the world is ending if they want it easier. And Shiki says, I feel like you're purposely being obtuse about this. There's still the ability to experience every bit of the game. You're someone who wants to play every bit of the game, and you choose to play the easy version, and you hate it. That's on you. Yeah, I agree with every bit of that. I just systemically, I think like it's okay that some media is hard and difficult, and like part of the um part of what makes like the Souls games, I think, so beautiful in their design is that the juice is worth the squeeze, right? Like it's you when you see sections in that game that you didn't think you could ever get to, and it doesn't do what a lot of games do that just puts the most pretty stuff up front. Like you see a section that is like so breathtaking and beautiful that you didn't think you'd ever fucking get there, and or just so cool and crazy, and you're just like, holy shit, I did this. And the secret of the Souls games um is that there often is these kinds of um easy modes baked into it. They just aren't as upfront about it, but I think that's actually better because it doesn't take away the sense of accomplishment that so like when the dude who does the like no armor run around naked Souls run feels crazy accomplishment, and then the person who it's their first Souls game and they're doing like all the summons, all the everything, and goes in there and goes and so they're effectively utilizing a very similar quote unquote easy mode, but they get to feel that soul sense of like, oh man, I did it. And I don't know. I think it's like it's a step. I would much rather you have just a straight up easy mode, where the boss battle is easier. Better, I like the Souls version where the quote unquote easy mode is more obfuscated. Um, than hey, just don't worry about this boss fight. Um, what's up, Mello? Uh, Cheeky says not wrong. LOL. I understand if it were a game like Bloodborne and there was an option to skip all the bosses. I can see your hesitancy, but Death Stranding has been called walking simulator and parcel delivery simulator by the masses. It's not defined by bosses. Um, Sam says people play them as escape. Cheeky says, Jeff, me playing the game in easy mode doesn't take away from your accomplishment. That's very gatekeeper mentality. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think, and again, we're making judgments about a game that is very much not out, and so like you could see it and be like, oh yeah, that's completely baked in, and it's his game. He gets to do whatever he wants with it. I am simply voicing the ways that like my brain is butting up against it as a concept. It's it's a good conversation to have. Dylan says, if I had an easy mode to get past the stupid monkey level of the Lion game when I was 9, I would have loved it. I rented that stupid game 3 games in a row and never beat it. The Lion King game is so hard. It's so hard. But so when I was a kid, Dylan, that's what I had a Game Genie for, and would just break games and play them, and then so I could get to see all the stuff. But that's what I did as a kid. I don't know. I and as Dylan is pointing out, there's like, or as Sam's pointing out to Dylan, there is like cheat codes and stuff you can put into. Sam said, I don't know if you missed it or I didn't say it out loud, but I want to make sure you saw not everyone plays games to feel accomplished. That's a very specific group of masochist gamers, myself included. Okay, I'll try to articulate it this way. I don't think everyone plays games to feel accomplished, but I think that everyone who plays games can feel accomplished. And I'm all about accessibility. I just don't want to, like, for the sake of accessibility, sacrifice that chance for someone to feel accomplished. Shiki said, so what you're saying is you used a tool to get past things that you kept from advancing in the game so you could see it all like an easy mode. Uh, yes. I'm not now nor ever claiming that I'm not. Oh, fancy rich bastards get at a game genie. The only reason I had it is when so I had all the I had every generation that from the time before. So like I didn't have Super Nintendo stuff till everyone else had 64 stuff. I would like buy it off of my cousins. It'd be that like they were trying to get the new console and all the games and stuff. And so I'd end up making those deals of like, like 50 or $100 to buy their console and like all their games for the past system because they didn't want it anymore because they were all about the new thing. Shiki says, but you don't get to choose what makes people feel accomplished. That's 100% true. And I am not attempting to in the slightest. I think there's a spectrum. I think there's a spectrum of adjusting difficulty down that could be done in the name of like inclusion, that eventually you could get down to a point where people would just be like, I don't need this, and like you're getting in the way of like what the art is supposed to be doing. And I'm not smart enough to draw those lines. I'm just poking at it. Sam said, I would say to that, if someone enjoys a game, they tend to revisit with harder difficulties. Jeff says that's why I play Ocarina of Time as rando now. I love that game, but it was too easy vanilla. Or the people that do like the free heart challenge of stuff. But yeah, this is why Selena's usually here to balance out my shitty old man opinions. Ultimately, we're building a world that is not just for Jeffries, and that is on the whole a good thing. I'm just not being an honest person if like when something like clicks in my brain, if I'm just not, and I'm thinking out loud about it, if I'm not voicing that, I'm just like, I don't know. Shiki said, I would like to revisit what you said. I'm all for accessibility, but means you're not all for accessibility. Saying you're all for accessibility while constantly saying that an entire difficulty made for you, the guy who likes to fight bosses, to ignore isn't something you accept, but you ignore aim assist or summons, so how is that different? I was saying that aim assist or summons or stuff like that, and there's an argument against what I'm saying that is like to say that that's way more patronizing, right? That it's like, hey, there's stuff baked in to be like, oh yeah, no, you did it, buddy, while like secretly the game is like helping you along. So there's an argument against that as being way worse. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to like answer these questions. And I also only have my life experience and the knowledge of conversations I've had with people around me, and I'm likely wildly wrong about so many things. I was saying I am all about accessibility. I'm saying at the same time there's a conversation potentially that maybe doesn't need to be had. Maybe it's by having it at all. In a world where like often people are so against accessibility, like you're causing a problem. But like I think that there is a spectrum to which you know, I don't know. Like, do uh so like Tale of Two Cities is one of my all-time favorite books, right? Um, I first fell in love with Tale of Two Cities through Wishbone, right? And Wishbone is an accessibility mode to Tale of Two Cities. Um, but we still like ask people to read Tale of Two Cities, even though like a lot of the language stuff is changing, and like as a young dyslexic kid, it was hard for me. It's one of the reading big old books like that is some of the more difficult work I do. It is still feels worthwhile. Um uh she says, I'm saying that you accept the things that are already there because they're established, so something else comes along that you can in fact fully ignore, but you're vehemently opposed to. I don't know that I'm vehemently. Um um the man in charge of the game wants people to be able to play, wants people to enjoy his art, and they want to and should be enough for us. No one ruined it. It was his idea. That's, I mean, that is the biggest point of all of why it's his game. If he wants this mode to be in there, it's his piece of art. Um, Sam says, I like playing games easy/standard the first time, then hard, harder, challenge runs, and randomizers. I think it's okay to give people options. Doesn't hurt my playthrough at all. Yeah, and there's definitely some games where I definitely crank the difficulty down and suggest other people do as well, because I'll be like, hey, this is a amazing story um that people should get to see. If the gameplay itself is something you're butting up against, like, you can crank it down to easy mode. um I personally butt up against a little bit against the idea of like, and they have that mode in uh South of Midnight too, where you can literally skip every single combat in that game. And I've seen a lot of debate and talk, because like the combat in South of Midnight is not the best feature of it. The story and the world and everything are right. And there is a thing in the menu where you can just like literally walk up to every combat and just go skip. I don't want to see that. I don't want to do that. Uh, and yeah, I don't. That's one of the weirder examples, because it's like I don't think the combat in that game is actually good. Uh, in some ways, there's an argument that maybe that is the best way to play that game. But that said, now that I'm deeper in and I'm starting to get in the grooves of the combat, which is like only happened because I pushed up against that wall so many times and then started to like be like, oh, okay, like I get the push pull of this, and I'm starting to actually settle in, and and I'm to a point now that the combat feels easy when it did feel like just cumbersome and hard before. um and I think, cheeky if it helps, I think part of it is just like it's other that horse blinderness of like um seeing a world that is just for me, right? Uh Instead of a world that is and should be for everybody. Um I know that this sort of stuff given to me at the wrong times in my life, for me particularly as a person, would have been for the worse. And that's probably what I butt up against. Um which is possibly completely erroneous to like it, and not even uh helpful, right? I'm just looking at it through my lens of just like, I'm someone who has had to teach myself, and still has to. I still struggle with it. This like, Jeff, you got to do things you don't want to do sometimes. Like this, like this thing, and like that sense of like, oh man, yeah, I didn't want to do that, but I got it done, and I feel so much better now. And it's like, and some of that did start in games of just like, well, I learned to read from playing games, because my sister stopped being willing to read Dragon Warrior to me. So much of that, it was the reward of seeing more of the game, has like pushed me to like learn and so it's like there's two different conversations. There's one, the thing that is about like, hey, uh yeah, there are people to which there has to be accessibility considerations, um and then there's this conversation over here, which is like, oh man, if this stuff was around, um when I was a young pup, because it was when I had the NES, I had a Game Genie. The other systems I did not, and I had a Game Genie because of just that's my cousin did, and so for the further games, I had to keep pushing against the wall and keep trying, keep succeeding, and I had to be uncomfortable, um, to learn how to get through it, um, and that's an entirely different conversation from accessibility, and maybe it's a better world to make things more accessible, but ultimately worse for Jeff. Like that's probably a better world, right? Um, doesn't mean that like as the world moves that way that I'm not going to be like, hey, um, uh, so I'm all for accessibility, but ramps make the journey so much harder. Just use the damn stairs. That's a pretty good synthesis of the shitty point I'm making. I appreciate you pointing it down into humor like that. Um, you just took the 6 paragraphs I just said and summed it up in a sentence. Sam says that's like people getting mad at save states and rewind for retro games, but Nintendo put it in there because they know those games are hard as balls and didn't age great. Yeah, I'm the guy that gets mad at that stuff. I do. I just I want the work to be experienced as it was. Um, I don't know. I'm not right about everything. Shiki said, I'd also like to add that I love you and I'm not angry at all, just very much disagree with your opinion. I love you too. Like, I'm sorry that we butt heads on this kind of stuff so much. Um, I'm always growing and learning and getting there. Sam says, also on the debate of this, like finishing games and stories. It's not to feel accomplished, just an itch my brain has, and I have really dread when I hit a game where I'm like, I literally don't know if I'm good enough to beat this. I don't know how visible that is on stream. That hit me in both Oris, the hard Hollow Knight Rando, Dark Souls 2, Bloodborne, Donkey Kong Country, and more. Like, I get such a weird dread when I hit that wall. Currently there with tactics. Anytime I feel accomplished in a game, I remember I spend way too much time in my life playing games. Keeps me humble. Cheeky says that's not something everyone should have to do to enjoy a game, though. Like, I get it. Not everything should be given to you, but again, accessibility is too far behind for the times. We should be much further in area in life. It's 2025. Having to struggle and fight for it and be angry and uncomfortable is already the way of life. I don't think it has to be the way of every single video game. I mean, that's a solid point, too. We are living in an era where life itself is hard. Um, in a hard mode that sucks. I would say that there's a potential truth though that like it I don't know. It's all like what are games for you, right? There is a potential truth of just like, well, uh maybe things being harder while life is hard and is a better thing because you have to learn that mechanism within yourself to do things when they are hard. And then when life is hard, you have that mechanism. But then there's the argument that it's like, yeah, but no, I want games to like distract and take me away from all that. So it's that weird thing of like, a lot of kids just don't play sports anymore. A lot of, and I fucking hated playing sports. I was so bad at them. And it was like one of the only ways like my dad would ever like even slightly connect with me was with sports stuff. So I tried so hard, and I was so bad at it. And I played basketball. I loved basketball. I loved watching basketball. I was so bad. I tried with baseball. I was so bored. Because it was just there was not enough stimulus. But I tried almost every sport, and I was so bad. And it did give me times in my life though where I learned to fail and learned to struggle and learned that some things just aren't for me, and learned it, and that's all skill sets that I took into other parts of life and was able to use them. And I think there are also lessons that I got from video games that I was able to utilize in life too. And life is just really hard. I am so terrified. I have a kid graduating this year. I have another one that's 15. I have another one who's about to be 11. And life is so scary and hard. And I am so terrified that I have not prepared them enough for what life is. And it's rough because we get into like a lot of these conversations, and I get into conversations with Lena about it, and like she'll be very much like, you're being too hard on them, or you're being too this. And it's just like, I am terrified that something's going to happen to me, or something's going to happen to their mom, or both. And like they're just going to be out there raw dogging life, and life is fucking hard. And I don't know. And so like part of me, like as we're making things like easier and more accessible and everything else, is like just also trying to like acknowledge, like, it's like, hey, some things in life should be uncomfortable and challenging. Some things in our media should be uncomfortable and challenging. Like that's an okay thing, and that's a good skill to build up, is to learn to be uncomfortable and challenged and weather through it. He said that's not something everyone should have to do to enjoy a game, though. LOL, like I get it. Not everything should be given to you, but again, accessibility is too far behind. Oh yeah, I read that one. Having to struggle to fight to be angry, comfortable in life, I don't think it has to be the way. Yeah, that's what just led to that conversation. So good job rereading the thing you just read, Jeff. Sam said, I worked hard, so you have to work hard as to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Yes, killing the world. Hopefully I just articulated my point a little better, and it's not I worked hard so you have to work hard. It's I'm scared you're going to have to work hard, so I want you to be ready for it. Is more my approach. But Shiki said, like I said earlier, if it was an option in the normal base game, I can see how this is negative for the experience for people, but it's fully separate. Holds no bearing on other difficulties. Sam said, I stopped playing sports because my dad kept trying to live through me, so I let him down again. um, yeah, my dad and it was rough. It was just like the man, did he pay so much more attention to me while I was playing sports, but I was so bad at them. So it was like not the best attention. Dylan says, I feel like raw dogging life is a frat boy Facebook status update from 2006. Shiki said, if they have basic things down, you did better than so many other parents. I wish I had parents that instilled love and patience in me and a child instead of dread and worry. I don't know how to function as an adult. I didn't learn things from my parents. It's not because they weren't hard on me. It's because I wasn't given a safe place as a child. I promise giving your children a safe place is just as important. That also prepares them for adult life. I didn't miss a Mello. Mello said, I'm not talking about everything, but people should work hard and get help. To which Sam said, yeah, good work ethic is a good thing. What I meant by that was there's a huge mentality of I had to do so and so everyone should also have to do that. Yeah, I think that's bullshit. We should be uplifting each other in our communities and make surviving easier. I agree. I just think we should be like, we're all on the same page that everything out there should be so much easier than it is. Because holy fucking shit, is it just hard mode right now for so many people. And then the people it's not for, they've done such a good job convincing them that one, because they're still on hard mode. That's the most insane thing, is that the people that are like really like making it or getting by right now are still working their fucking asses off and not seeing their kids, and like it's a shit show out there right now. And those people are like in this spot of just like, oh, you know, things aren't that bad. Shiki says, I can't navigate difficult emotional situations without crying. I can't have adult conversations without worrying that I've made everyone mad. I second guess everything. I will say, if it helps, the superpower of me is I will never be mad at you and not tell you that I'm mad at you. Now, I've been telling Selena that for 6 years now, and she doesn't believe me still. But like, that is what I bring to the table. I second guess everything. I learned to make phone calls and get a job and learn on the job and whatever else I need to do, but my lack of emotional maturity has fucked me over in such a big way. I live in hard mode every day. I had to do so and so everyone should have to do that. Also plays video games. I'm still trying to bridge that disconnect. Since I just haven't made Jeff mad yet, time to believe harder. I don't think so. Yeah. No, I don't think either of you've ever made me mad. I'm sure it'll happen. And then you'll get a note from me like, usually what happens is my response is hey, I'm kind of upset about that, and it takes me a long time to process that and figure out if I'm right to be upset or not. So I'm working on that. Of course not, because you would have told it. Yeah. That's my reaction to being mad. It's just like, hey, I am mad at this. I'm going to figure out if that is fair that I'm mad at this. I showed you my anger. Please respond. No, it's like I think for me, one of the biggest triggering things is when someone's mad at me, but they treat me normally. Like when they're like angry and they're like, no, it's fine. No, I got it. Like, and my brain is like, well, is it fine? Like, do you got it? And like, yeah, Jeff, I got it. And like, that is just, I can't, I surround myself often with people that, for better or worse, are like, I'm fucking pissed at you, and because I'm like, okay, cool, I know that you're mad at me. I can work with this. um Jeff says Jeff mood. Jeff says I don't get mad, I get even. Sam says if I get mad, I need space to cool off. um yeah, I think conflict is often productive, and can be, but like, and being like, hey, this upset me, is something that can be helpful. And if you can get space to give yourself time to get through it and sort everything out, that's my biggest thing, is sorting out what I'm feeling, when I'm feeling it, and why. It's taken a lot of work in my adult life. She says, yeah, I struggle with doing that. I'm working on that. I was never given the ability to work out my anger, so it's always hard to do in adulthood. But I'm not good at hiding it, so you can always tell. I'm sorry if I've ever like wildly frustrated you. I promise, even my worst takes are coming from an ultimately kind of good place. I'm never gonna be the like, I suffered, therefore you should suffer person. If anything, my worst take is the, I suffered and it gave me skills, and I don't know how you're gonna get that skills otherwise person. That is more where I think you and I often hit disagreements, because like, I don't know how to be a dad half the time, because it's like, there's things my kids aren't good at, and it's because they have loving, wonderful parents. And I'm like, I don't know how to give you the skill that you need to have at this point, because I know how I got that skill. And I don't want to do that. So like, what, how did I get you there? Um uh Sam says, I know I get like irrationally mad when something doesn't stick with me right. So like, space to cool off and collect my actual thoughts, not just emotions. Then I'm ready to go back to it and talk it all out. Feeling anger is valid, but I think we are responsible for how we let it out. Yeah, I think that's fair. Um Jeff says, funny, we're talking about this. I don't get mad. I do need to stress this, but I'm currently really pissed off at something a politician said. I'm considering for the first time ever signing up for TikTok and posting a response video. Uh, do it. I always think, dude, worst case scenario, TikTok's gonna be gone in a month or two anyways. But like, um, yeah, I'm all about everyone getting everything political off their chest right now, because now is the time for it. Um, because I've become frustrated, but also like, I understand you're not sitting here being shitty. You're talking through your thoughts. Do I think sometimes I'd like to shake those thoughts out of you? Yes, but I'm not angry with you. Um, Sam said, okay, back to some discomfort is good. I survived 30 push-ups. I don't know where I'm cutting this challenge off. I want to die. Um, are you adding like one a day? Or are you adding like, you might just need to slow down the progression. Like maybe stay at 30 for a while. And then, yeah, plus one a day. Yeah, I would consider slowing that progression down a little bit, but that's just me. Everybody's different. Cut off at 50, as I was thinking. Yeah, at some point, like, just even the time sync gets crazy. But I need to do a push-up challenge and a sit-up challenge. Like, that needs to... I used to be really good at just, like, mindlessly doing that kind of stuff, but I have not been for a long time. I have to cut it off at some point or it take too long. Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Uh, Yeah, Shiki said you could do +1 every other day till 50 and then sit there for a bit and see if you think you can do more. You could also like do like morning and night. So rather than, cap the morning one at 50, but then start doing a night one too. That you start at 1 and slowly um using this wedding as motivation has really worked out well. Been killing it with workouts, diet, and such. Yeah, I need to get back into taking better care of myself. Um, it's been hard since post Selena because it's just like I want to spend all my time just hanging out with her. It's been bad for work. It's been bad for working out. It's been bad for my art. It's been bad for so many things. I literally just want to spend every minute of my day just hanging out with her, talking or watching dumb shit or whatever. And it is so hard to I had gotten such a good grip on myself uh while I was single. Because I had all this time where it was just like I was like, what else am I gonna do? Um and uh I gotta get them done before my actual lifting Jeff or my arms will be jelly. Oh, yes. Fair enough. Uh Shiki says I need to be better, but I've been so fucked up I can't. Um there's a family member's getting married, so we should be going back home in June. And if I didn't want to be my super depressed self when I see old family and friends, so I had 100 days to get in shape. Um, Chef says June is the last wedding I'm gonna DJ. We're so done with them. Um, I imagine it's good money, but I don't know that that I wouldn't like doing weddings. I like being at weddings, so. Um, he said, what you said you're so fucked up. Can't? What kind of fucked up? Cheeky. Um, Mixes self consciousness and vain emotionally. That's that's no joke though. It's um I remember I was coming off of a real bad depression spell one time and uh and Andrew had just like basically done most of my job for me on the other end of it. I was apologizing to him and it was so funny because he was just like, had this happened before last year, I would have been so resentful and so mad at you and like wouldn't have handled it well and everything else. And he's like, but after I went through my spell last year, it experienced it intimately. It's very like he's like, I couldn't do anything. And until I actually lived through that, I really thought that like, oh man, people are just being babies. Um and then he lived through it. He's like, oh man, all right. He's between physical and emotional. LOL. I'm struggling to focus on anything. Been pretty good about keeping myself from eating all day every day. I don't know if I can spread that willpower thin enough to also try to work out. Um yeah, this is where I get like too prescriptive with my own stuff with everybody too. That was my existence before ADHD meds, and then the ADHD meds really like manage like the day has an arc to it now that it didn't used to before. Um and I am able to focus and get a lot more stuff done, and then it also like helps me to not just eat all day long and not like be the and everything. But like that's one person's journey. and you could find that they aren't helpful in the slightest. For me, they very much were. And a lot of the stuff that I was doing with caffeine my whole life, I was actually like self-medicating for the ADHD. I would highly recommend for workout stuff. That Couch to 5K program is great, and especially if you approach it as like instead of walk run, but walk and like very quickly walk, or like walk and slightly jog. Like, don't. The point is, it's getting you out there and getting active, and you're like, there's a progression, and that's good. Mike says, I think all of you look handsome and attractive the way you are, and also work. I love the haircut. You looking freaking great. I mean, I'm in a hat, but I am bald. Tips that I can help you ease into stuff if you need / want, Cheeky. I don't ever want to come off as me saying you need to work out, so only if you want, but we could start going for walks or something. Walks are great. Love the haircut. Okay. Yoga is supposed to be really good for fibro too, so we could do. Oh, yoga is so good. I forgot about yoga. Do fucking yoga. Like, find like some really good like beginners yoga stuff on YouTube. You'll feel so much better afterwards. I need to be doing yoga. But again, when me or anybody else is giving you advice or tips or just talking on any of this stuff, the secret when anybody tells you anything is to eat it like watermelons. Spit out the seeds. So if someone's like, oh my god, let me tell you what worked for me. Instead of doing what I did as a young kid where you just tune out all of that and you're like, you don't know me. Or instead of like trying to do everything that they say, like a watermelon. You just like go like, okay, well that was obviously a seed, but it came from a good place. Trying to grow watermelons, right? And I'll take the good stuff around it. So spitters are quitters, Jeff. He shared a YouTube link. Does that go to?
Why is everybody putting up with ads like it's 2010?
Oh my
like,
gosh. I need to get rid of extension takes 5 seconds. Stupid Chrome. Because Chrome is constantly just like, do you want to, your ad blocker is just not going to work anymore. Stuff.
그놈들은 악마를 소환하는 대주교를 맹신하고 초인적인 힘을 냅니다.
신원을 알 수 없는 그 괴한들에 의한 살인 사건과 강력 범죄가
경찰력으로는 도저히 감당이 안 됩니다, 신부님.
What is this?
그래서 그 친구가 꼭 필요합니다.
우리 은서한테 왜 이런 일이 벌어지는 거죠?
은서 씨 몸 안에 악마가 자리 잡고 있다는 거예요.
시작하자. 그들은 항상 우리 주변에 있습니다.
This looks great.
악을 전파하고 다닙니다. 이 친구는 악마를 찾아내는 특별한 능력이 있습니다. 그 눈이라도 하얗게 잠깐 해봐. 보여드리게.
지금 안 되죠.
That's way up my alley. Thank you for sending that. Does it have a date? That's way up my alley though. That looks good. It'll premiere in South Korea April 30th, 2025. That means there's like one theater around here that'll play it, and I will not be able to convince Selena to go with me to take that drive, because it's it's always like when I'm like, if I'm like, oh man, if I'm like, hey, will you take this drive to see this like really artsy horror movie? 100 times out of 100, she's gonna be like, yeah. If I'm like, hey, will you take this drive to see a foreign sci-fi film, which happens a lot, she's like, no. Use fucking Boxing Spirits, yeah. Train to Busan, I fucking love Train to Busan. Where are we at? So in your own time, I posted a video of the last time we did a wedding. At least some of the lights are retired. Let me tell you how many lights there are. We tried putting them on 2 different plugs and we popped a breaker. Oh man. That's so much work. I can't imagine. Sam said, I'm so glad Korean media got such a big boom. It's really neat seeing their stuff. Yeah, we'll between Park Chan-wook and Boon, the Snowpiercer guy, I can't think of his name right now. You have just like 2 powerhouse filmmakers that are just making amazing stuff. Jeff said, sorry, I never finished that. I posted a video of the last wedding I did, and Sammy's like, I gotcha. Okay. He says, foreign horrors on another level makes me so happy. Me too. Discord's new age verification requires ID or face scans for some users. This is from Josh Broadwell over at GameSpot. He says, Discord is experimenting with a new age verification policy that would require users to prove their age to see material Discord considers harmful. The verification process is currently undergoing trial in the United Kingdom and Australia. The Discord didn't say how long the test period will last or when or if it will roll out in other countries. Age verification process applies to all devices, including Discord and Xbox and PlayStation 5. Sam says this is old. This article is from yesterday, so what is new about it? Why would there be a new article about an old thing? The system invites privacy concerns, though. Discord sent affects question about the new requirement that the data provides for verification is not stored by Discord or its face scan vendor. Since I watched a video for someone testing this while we still had Luna. Okay. For some reason, GameSpot's reporting on it yesterday. Thinking GameSpot. I don't have a horse in this, right? Maybe they probably rolled it out to more testers. Yeah. I don't. If this is just my questions would be like, what are you requiring this for? And who and how are you determining what goes over that line, right? Sam said it's because the biggest appeal for Discord bans is people being like, LOL, I'm 13, and people appeal those bans. It's if you want a fast unban. Okay. I'm all about Discord being on the whole more safe. I don't. If this has to like go across like everyone though, I don't like that. You get banned instantly for saying you are a minor. Okay. No, it's not for everyone. This is cool. New Xbox Doom controller features spikes and blood. There's also a new console wrap that turns your Xbox into a Doom Slayer shrine. I'm very excited for the new Doom game. Next big Doom game, Doom the Dark Ages, arrives next month, and to help celebrate, Xbox has announced 2 new Doom-themed controllers, one of which features spikes, blood, and demonic glyphs. Officially revealed in January, Doom the Dark Ages is a massive and awesome-looking prequel to the recent Doom games from id Software in Bethesda. The upcoming FPS is to launch on May 15th for Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. Dark Ages tells the tale of the Doom Slayer, aka Doom Guy's war against Hell and all the nasty monsters that call the realm home. It will feature giant mechs and dragons. It might be the coolest game I've seen in years. So I'm not surprised the new Xbox controller inspired by the game is also pretty dang cool. On April 16th, Xbox announced a new limited edition $80 Doom controller that is available now until it sells out. The controller is designed to look like the Doom Slayer's armor, complete with some blood splatter and the Slayer's symbol carved into the right handle. That's neat. Sam said this is the video I watched 4 months ago.
Why is everybody putting up with ads?
Oh
like
my
it's
god,
2010?
lady trying to talk to me about ads in an ad. We don't want none. Okay. So
Discord's got something cooking.
it is
Because Discord is
4
working
months
on
ago.
a-
I'm not gonna. It's 10 minutes. I'm not gonna watch all of this. But yeah, this exists. It's 4 months old. Problem 2. Discord hates me. Okay, I'll watch all this later. A little ads and an ad, yeah. They just come for me. All these ads just have no chill whatsoever. One bit I really like about the new controller, this is XVision talking, is that it features 3D spikes near the Xbox guide button. Now, of course, these aren't very big or super sharp, but it's a nice touch that makes this feel more like than just a repaint of a standard Xbox gamepad. Yeah, that's cool. Beyond the new controller, Microsoft also unveiled a different Doom-themed Xbox Elite controller that is darker and more sinister looking. That one isn't out yet, but you can pre-order it starting today. It does cost $200 to keep that in mind, and that's why, despite several people telling me how good the Pro controllers are, I was close. I was close one year where we had to have a gift that was to me from Santa. It is like with the Santa thing, sometimes Santa's got a guy and like I was like, what am I gonna? I was like, do I want one of these? And like at the time I had the bandwidth, I could have bought it. And I sat there with the decision for a long time, and I was just like, I just cannot justify spending this kind of money on a controller. I have heard that they are good. I've heard that it's worth it. $200 for a controller. Yeah, no, the Pro controller. That's the answer every time that I'm like, hey guys, I actually love the Xbox ecosystem. When I'm talking like Xbox fanboys, I'm like, actually, yeah, you guys had the best console this generation. I really like it. I don't like the controllers. And they're always like, it's because you gotta get a Pro controller. And their Pro controllers are $200. They're so expensive. And I have heard from everyone that owns one that it was worth every penny. However, I don't believe you, because if I spent $200 on a controller, I also would feel the need to justify it to everyone that I talk to. Chef says, I feel bad paying $20 for a controller. Fuck $200. Yeah. Sam said people who are banned for age jokes make up like 50% or more of Discord's appeal. You can wait for a human to review it, but it can take weeks, or you can upload an ID, do their facial recognition thing, and have your account reinstated in minutes. That makes sense. Shiki says I hemmed and hawed on a $30 Switch controller. Sam says I'm too broke for modern gaming. Yeah. Sam says I miss Dreamcast and original Xbox controllers. They were chunky and clunky. I love them. You love the Duke? I have some affection for the Duke, but I do not miss that controller. That was... I have little baby hands. Little baby hands. I like the PS5 controllers a lot. I think they're kind of in this like perfect world of like weight and space. The PS3 controllers were felt like you could break them in half. The PS4 controllers were better, but like there's something. But again, this is $80. So like, it's a good controller. It's $80 fucking dollars though. Sam said if the controller was called the Duke, I never knew it. I'm pretty sure. I'm not making that up. I don't know if it was ever. Yep. I typed in Xbox the Duke, and there they are. I don't know why it was called the Duke. Okay. The first generation Xbox controller, nicknamed the Duke, was the first controller bundled with the system. For Altair, yeah. I don't know who nicknamed it that. I always knew it was that, though. Duke of Earl? Cheeky said that's about $50 too much. Yeah. Controllers should cost money. I don't know that $80 is a lot, but it's a really good controller. But just no one in my house other than Selena takes care of things well enough for us to be buying $80 controllers. Like I'm not great, but I'm better than the children, and then the children just destroy things. Jeff said I need to find someone who can replace the Joy-Cons because I love that controller, but it has drift. I wouldn't be sending anything to Japan right now. Like, we have everything breakdown. So there are the two biggest comic book grading companies are CBCS and CGC. And getting media graded, I'm falling more and more in the line of like, I think it's effectively kind of dumb, but like it's people like doing it, right? Those are where the two biggest companies are. Is here in America. Both one's in Florida, one's in Texas. They've had to completely rerouted. They basically have rerouted everything. They have CGC now has a spot in the UK that you're supposed to send your books to, and not at all send them directly to them if you're outside the United States, which is wild. That we're just in this state right now of just like yeah, everything's broken. Sam says Nintendo is legally obligated to fix them for free because they sell cheap broken shit. Yeah, but you're good luck getting something overseas and back right now without any hiccups. Chef says I'm not sure if it's official. I think it's third party. It is Power A. Yeah, then you can't go that route anyways. So that's the original Duke. I remember later on there were models that took the white and black controller, the white and black buttons that are like here towards the top, and put them as like an L1 and an R1 instead. And that was I love that controller. I played so much Halo with that thing. I just miss, and partly it's probably because that's when I was in junior high school. I miss that era of gaming so much. I miss it. The 360, Wii, and PS3 era started like as I started adulthood, basically. and I don't dislike that era. There are the games that I really like from that era, but like there will always be just like an affection I have towards that first Xbox, the PlayStation 2, and the GameCube. Like it just felt at that time like things were good. Things were like, remember fucking Fable coming out and just how mind bending and breaking Fable was, and like holy shit, gaming will never get better than this. Knights of the Old Republic on the Xbox was just insane. What a time. And then yeah, Halo 2, and then getting the little dongle so you could play Xbox Live and play Halo 2 online. But prior to that, getting together and like system linking a bunch of Xboxes together to play Halo was just the coolest. Yeah, it's everyone's affectionate for all the music and video games and movies that happened about the time they were in high school. And so it's so hard not to fall into that trap as you're talking about it. But like, shit did really feel special then. And I understand that that's just something that happens to everyone. And if I was in high school at a different time, I'd be like, video games aren't like what they were. You guys don't understand. All right. That's our morning show. I really appreciate you guys who hang out for it. You guys are amazing. Please check out the YouTube show. The YouTube. We're up to 51 subscribers on there. Put a lot of work into it. I'm getting Last of Us stuff up right now since it's, more relevant with the show. I'm gonna go into lurk mode or not. Well, sorry. I appreciate you. But go check out the YouTube. It's been putting a lot of work into it. I'm gonna start putting more into it. I'm getting off of the Sam said, congrats on passing 50. Yeah. 52 subscribers. Thank you. Vicky says, oh no, guys. Haley Joe Osment arrested for public intoxication, possession of a controlled substance at California ski resort. Send in Donald and Goofy. Officer, you don't understand the power of friendship. Sora succumbed to the darkness. Oh no. Please consider clicking that link for Whatnot. If you sign up through there, they'll give you $15 free to buy from us, or anybody else, so you can go spend it on something else that you're interested in. And then we still get a kickback. Also, we are live there every Saturday night from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. If you want to hang out for our comic book live shows, you never have to buy anything from us. We just like seeing you. So, and then it's always like nice and helpful to have people to talk to. It makes doing that a lot easier than like, here's another thing for sale. We would much rather have conversations and talk while we're doing that stuff. So Simpson, when you walk away, ba, ba, ba. I saw a TikTok that absolutely murdered me. That was someone like, hey, did your parents get really upset when you came out as bi? Like, oh no, I'm never had that conversation. I'm not bi. Like, oh, okay. Did they get upset when you brought that Keyblade home from the con that one time? Oh yeah, they were really mad. But wait a bit. Will you walk out? It made me laugh a lot. It was good. It was solid. She said, honestly, I'm shocked it took this long. Child starts to make me sad. Yeah. It's a rough thing where I fucking love movies. I love them so much. There is a pretty strong argument that child acting should be 100% illegal. And people think I'm crazy, but I said that, but it's just like it. Even the most well-adjusted ones are like, "Yep, that fucked me up." Sam says, "I thought Riku was the one with the power of the darkness. Maybe that's why he hasn't been caught yet." Exactly. I'm gonna raid out. We will eventually get to like where this is where I'm doing a video game stream. It is still taxing for me to talk post oral surgery. It's getting better. It's getting easier. I do want to be able to do a stream tonight though. So I'm gonna fold this up for now. So that I can catch a breath. There's a chance that maybe I'll pop on a little later and do like a 3 o'clock 64 one. Maybe that's just what we do because it's too much to do it. Okay, because like it's hard for there not to be. I think part of what makes it difficult on Selena too is that if I'm going from here right into video game stream, then she doesn't feel like there's any amount of like time where she can be like, "Hey Jeff, so what do I need for today at the shop or anything too?" I didn't really think about that when we did that schedule. I need the Nintendo 64 challenge to be done. I'm sorry, I'm trying. So we can get to more Final Fantasy. Or just other games. I can hop in a call and co-host so you don't have to reach out. Yeah, we'll see where I'm at. As of right now, I'm at a where I really need to take a break from talking. But by then, who knows? I might be chipper. Not that I always would like you to hang out. Super fun. You're always welcome to bomb into our chats, not just when you have charity things to promote. Let's see who we want to go say hi to. Very new person. That I'm just starting to meet, but they're currently playing Final Fantasy VIII, so we're gonna head over there. But seem like a cool cat. His name's Crimson 212. We're head over that way. I posted raid messages in the chat. Please be honest, be kind, and be useful. Live a good fucking life. Kiki said hee hee. Oh, I'm hungry. Breakfast time. Have a good day, everyone. All right. We're heading over there.